What is up, everybody? Aslan Hajivandi, Michael Langston, recruiting analyst for Warchant.com and the On3 Network. Hit the thumbs up. Thanks for joining us. This is awesome. Michael, how you doing, man? It's a live recruiting chat. You're pumped, right?
I'm fantastic, man. Everything's great. We got 2 camps left. You have 2 camps coming up. It's been very hectic and fun, and a lot of content and work, and certainly a lot of stuff we've had out there by Matt's our guy Matt's been phenomenal in helping with that stuff. Aslan helped a lot with the certainly the elite camp. We love that. Iris helped out a lot, assisting us as well. So it's a team effort, man. Loving it. Everything's going good, and now we got a big official visit weekend coming up with some big names.
Who's on commit watch? Who's going to commit, Michael? I want to commit. Come on.
Commit. Charles Lester. That's the one I'm watching. So,
What?
yeah, Charles is coming this weekend for official visit. We will have an official visit preview soon. I will kind of talk into what I'm looking at, what I'm keeping an eye on. I think Charles is one that you keep an eye on because he wants to decide this summer. That's the indication I got, and certainly he's already taken 2 official visits. I think. And then there's our remaining one to Georgia, but I'm not totally sold that he takes that visit personally. We'll see. He's already been to Alabama. He's been to Colorado, and then FSU's next. But I always got the indication that when he got in 3 visits, hey, watch out for a decision because he's not a guy that just likes to go through all this, stuff. I mean, he likes. I mean, every kid likes being wined and dined and treated like a red carpet treatment, but eventually some of them get tired, and I think he's one of those that kind of might get tired of that stuff. So there's a shot he will be just a teaser on the official visit preview. He will be on commit watch for me, so I'll be watching him. So certainly a lot of great visitors. We'll have a full preview on all that. You can go to, if you go to, maybe Aslan can pull it up for you guys for the official visits. You can see every guy that's visiting this week. There's 6 official visitors. Obviously, Charles is certainly one of the big ones. But it's going to be a lot of coverage. It's been a lot of fun, and last few weeks have been really fun. Just going to these indie camps, going to big man camps. The elite camp was a big smash, so I think certainly they're. I think they do need a commit to kind of ignite it a little bit more to get it going again. But I think overall they've set some really good buzz with a lot of recruits around the country.
Bro, I was kidding, man. Like, I really wasn't expecting you to drop like an absolute like Woj bomb and like give us 5-star being on commit watch this weekend, especially like in the first minute and a half. Not everybody's even sitting. There's chairs there. Everyone's grabbing their drinks and their popcorn.
Get it quick, man. Get it out.
Someone's going to ask, but we'll let them know to scrub back at the beginning here and give it a check out. I already said at the top, but after all that, Michael, shouldn't they hit the thumbs up button?
Every time, guys, hit the thumbs up button. It's free. I mean, don't you like free, guys? It's just like, it's just fun. It's fun to hit the like button. It's free, and I like getting stuff free. So if it's free, and it's easy, just certainly hit the like button. It helps promote us. And I don't never ask you guys for a lot. I just give. I'm a giver. I'm like Santa Claus. Like, so it doesn't matter to me, but that's my only request is just to, hit the like button.
All right, Michael. Hey, it is a live recruiting show. Chat, some might call it in some corners. We take questions from folks that are on YouTube, so go ahead, fire off your questions. We'll try to get to them here in the next 50 minutes or so. Might end just a little bit before 6 o'clock. We got some business that we got to attend to. I'm closer to it than Michael, so I want to make sure that Michael's not going to be too late to it.
Yeah.
But let's begin. Also, shout out to our guy Josiah in the back, scanning and screening the questions. Dustin R. asks, Michael, what do you think was the main thing that caused Dylan Stephenson to commit to Stanford? That happened? To commit to Stanford over us? What?
Yes, that happened, and I've been doing a lot of checking. That's a good question, Dustin. I was actually going to nail that with kind of a nugget later today but I'm glad you brought it up. Basically what happened was this kid's been on board since April, and then
what do you mean on board? Like he's been assigned to Florida State?
Yeah, like he was coming to FSU. They felt very good about him. Okay. So he was coming in, and then FSU was kind of lukewarm on him, where they were kind of like, "We like you, but and they'll take him," but it wasn't how they feel about LJ McCray or Cameron Franklin or somebody like that, where, hey, we love it. So then I've heard people just in his camp were kind of like, well, now we're kind of iffy on that, so that's kind of ticked them off a little bit. So they're like, whatever. And then just started trending, and then he took the official visit to Stanford. Obviously, Stanford offers a lot as far as an academic university, and not much lately in football, but I think that's kind of maybe Stanford started talking to him. Maybe he fell more in love with the academics than he did the actual, I guess, place that could really develop him football wise. And I think that's probably ultimately won him over. But I was told like FSU was kind of, and this was even well, it was when they were feeling good that they were kind of like, we like him, but it wasn't like we have to have him. It wasn't like the other top tier guys like a LJ McCray or DD Holmes or Cameron Franklin, all these guys, Pickett, the Pickett kid, Booker Pickett, those guys, they were mentioned more to me more than they were him, but it was going to be a take, but I didn't get the impression it was kind of like live or die if we don't get this guy. But that's kind of the gist of how that worked, Destyn.
I had no idea who even their coach was, because I know David Shaw left.
Right.
Troy Taylor, the new head football coach at Stanford. He was at Sacramento State. No, listen, I'm not going to besmirch anything. I mean, Stanford's an amazing academic institution.
Right.
This one doesn't? I wouldn't think it's over, Michael. But what do I know? Do you think this is over?
I mean, they were already lukewarm kind on him, so I don't
Okay.
think they're going to push it unless they maybe miss on a bunch of guys. And so I think they were always kind of, we liked him, but it was like we've been on him so long, be stupid to not just follow through. He's a good player, but at the same time, they're better players on their boards that they like better. So I'd kind of look at it as like that. So if it was like a player like a top tier guy that they definitely want and covet, then yeah, I would say definitely they would stay on it. But I don't think they're going to push this too much.
Okay. All right. Tom Mortner wondering. I mean, you named off some of the guys that you think might be a little bit higher on the board.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes. Tom with another follow up. Offensive recruiting, obviously great. Defensive back recruiting seems to be great, especially when Lester pops. What the heck is going on with defensive ends, defensive tackles, and linebackers, Michael?
Yeah, I'm not so much concerned with the defensive ends. There's a lot of great options. I've already covered some of those. I think FSU's in the top two, if not the leader for some of those guys. I agree with you on defensive tackle and linebacker. I've mentioned this many times that Odell's not a spring chicken, and people are using that against Odell on the recruiting front. Now, when they get here, even these transfers, we've seen it. There's immediate transition. It's immediate development. Odell does a phenomenal job of developing the high school kids. It's a lot of wine and dine. There's a lot of like impressions, all this stuff. And so far, it's just you don't see a lot of that as far as FSU not getting these guys like Jordan Hall last year with the defensive tackle from Westside, who, by the way, I chatted with his head coach, who we talked with Aslan when we went over there to Westside for Jordan Hall. I chatted with him yesterday, and he's kind of like, I thought it was going to be FSU. He thought it was actually going to be an FSU because of what Odell is, but I don't think it's anything Odell's doing. I just think when you've been there that long, people are waiting. People are using that you're not going to be there much longer, and so that's kind of hurting. That's hurting FSU, I think, on the recruiting front. And kids know what he is, but at the same time, there's fear. They're putting the fear factor in that he's not going to be there for your 4 years. So I think that part's hurting them. Linebacker, I don't really have a real direct answer for that. That's another one where the players get in there. Randy does a great job developing, but we're not seeing the top tier guys. Now they do have a few guys, talented one coming in this weekend, 2025 linebacker Bo Barnes, who's a 2025 guy, but still, he's a 4-star. But I'm not seeing enough top tier guys visiting FSU and even camping with FSU, and even at the elite camp, I didn't see as many that you're kind of looking for. So that's something they will certainly have to address, down the line. It's certainly something I think needs to improve, but Tom, I can't give you an exact answer, but except for the linebacker recruiting, but defensive tackle, that's my thoughts on that. So it's just two positions. I think they're really going to have to just look into that.
That's crazy. I can't believe. I mean, I know negative recruiting is a thing, but like, who would really think that Odell is like not going to finish out at least like 3 more years with a kid? Like, wouldn't communicate that to him. But I
Yep.
guess you got to do what you got to do out there sometimes with these folks. Let's keep it with the interior on the defensive line. Michael Demo asks, is FSU still interested in DeAndre Robinson out of Orlando?
They are. Obviously, there's still work to do. There's no official visit set up with FSU, so that's not like a positive. So certainly they will have to. They've had him on campus multiple times in the spring. It's gone really well. Like I said, when they get here, they do well. As far as but he has visited. But I think they're on the outside looking in. Probably Florida would be the team I think sits the best since he's been there the most. He officially visited Florida. Like I said, official visits kind of are a good indicator of how serious the interest gets. If you get an official visit, that's when I feel like it gets really serious. I think FSU's working on official, but so far there's no official set yet. So I think as long as he doesn't decide in the summer, which I haven't heard he is or he isn't, I don't think it's a big deal. But I do think there's work to do.
Is there a good number of elite defensive tackles in state this year? Michael, sorry, I don't want to ask for.
I mean, he's really the main one that I've heard as far as in-state, as far as defensive tackles, there's not a lot. So to answer your question, no, there's not a lot of highly rated, four-star defensive tackle as far as that position. Most of them, you go outside that area. There's some in Georgia. There's some in different places in the country. But DeAndre's been made kind of the main one in state. But they're still working on that. You also have Artavius Jones out of Bluntstown, who's a good one that they like that I think will officially visit FSU, 4-star defensive tackle. So I think there's a few, but it's not like a buffet load of guys. So certainly if you go defensive tackle, you're usually going to have to go outside the realm of your state.
Yeah, so let's cut Odell a little bit of slack, but I get it. I get it, everybody. I get it, everybody. Wesley Dobbs says, I have smashed the like button. Thanks, Wesley. Jeff Cameron mentioned expecting some news intimating from the NIL recruiting talk. Do you see the same smoke? Now, real quick, Michael, it could be baseball related too, everybody.
Yeah.
Florida State's obviously really active right now when it comes to the portal, when it comes to baseball recruiting, and NIL is obviously part of that. So sometimes Jeff might be talking about that. But have you? I don't know, man. When we think about NIL recruiting, I think of like the portal because I don't know how many guys that are unproven are getting big deals to, their name, image, and likeness. But your turn, Michael. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it could be a number of things, Wesley. If there's anything on the recruiting front, as far as I've heard that NIL related, as far as what FSU's done, but I think I'm certainly there's some movement as far as what they've done in that area as far as NIL, but I don't think there's some big news as far as that I'm hearing as far as recruiting related, except for you have some guys that are going to announce in July. 4-star offensive lineman Jason Zandamela is going to announce in July. I feel good there. He's going to officially visit on the 23rd. I feel really good about tight end 4-star Kylan Fox. That's another one that's going to decide. I feel really good there. And there's one more that's kind of slipping my mind, but there's probably like 3 or 4 that could be deciding in July. So I think there is going to be some good news coming. Charles Lester, I've already mentioned him. That's another addition to that 3. So I think they're going to have some good. I think they're going to have some good news coming in July. So if that's what he's referring to, whatever. But I mean, that's all I have on my end.
Daquan Kitchings. If Jamari Howard, the cornerback, had to pick out of Florida State and Florida, who do you think he would choose today, Michael?
I don't think he really could choose today, Daquan, if he had to choose, because I think he kind of flips back and forth when he goes. He really likes Surtain, but he also likes Florida. He's visited there a few times. I mean, I think it's close. It's razor close. I mean, I would have a different answer every day, so I don't want to tell you an answer, Daquan, and then have something different tomorrow. So I go back and forth on both of these. It's really close. It's kind of a coin flip for me is for Florida and Florida State. So I can't give you a definitive answer. He's going to take official visit, I think, to both of them. I think that's going to happen. So I think it really these official visits is going to depend. The official visits are going to depend on what happens in this recruitment. And then Matt Lassier came in there and chimed in. Yeah, it's James Madison is the other third guy. I forgot. I was just drawing a blank, but that's another one. I feel good about him as well. So those are some guys I think in July that you have some potential good news that are coming. So that's really all I can say at this stage as far as where these recruitments are. The rest of them either probably wait till the season starts or just before the season starts. There might be some more, good news down the pike. But yeah, I mean, got some stuff coming up in July.
Let's go to Don't Falk It Up. You mentioned Kylan Fox. You feel good about Kylan Fox.
Yeah,
He asked
I
about
do.
that. It follows up
Yeah,
with, does the fact that Kylan is constantly posting stuff of him in UCF gear, being in UCF streams, talking up UCF, and recruiting the school and wearing UCF gloves today when he was at Georgia Tech matter?
doesn't matter to me. I don't really care about whether a guy wears gloves or not. There's a lot of guys that have wore gloves in FSU gloves and they don't go here. So Um, I don't think that stuff really matters a whole lot. Kylan's really close to um, Landon Thomas, who's up there in California, by the way, uh, with Luke Kromenhoek. Shout out to Luke. Thanks for the diary, man. You're doing great. Looks phenomenal. Luke's finished third, I think, in the first day. But I'm not that concerned about what kids' attires are or what kids post or stuff. I know how FSU feels about where they stand in their recruitment. So I just think I think it's going very well, but obviously you still have to finish the job on the official visit, and I think they position themselves pretty well with Kylan Fox, and I think that's kind of where it's going to go as far as this recruitment. I think FSU is the favorite, and I've always said UCF is the major team that they're competing with, but I like FSU and where they stand, but I don't really get into the tire and what kids post on their social media because that's what kids do. They want to build up excitement about their decision. They have earned the right to build up excitement about their decision because they've worked hard. So, but I don't really, I don't think it's a big deal to me. But I do consider UCF a major threat to FSU, but I like FSU.
Kylan Fox retweeted Stacey Gage talking about just wait till July come around. And Kylan Fox retweeted, what's going on in July? Eyeball emojis. So stay tuned, kids. Stay tuned. I mean, tight ends and that Gus Malzahn offense just blossom. They just blossom all the time. It's sarcasm. Mark Sermons is here, everybody. Give it up for Mark. What if we get James Madison, JoJo Trader, and Cam Coleman? Do we drop any of the other receivers that have committed?
Well, first of all, I don't think they're going to get all those guys.
Come on, Michael. Dream the dream.
Let's just not dream something that isn't reality. Second, if that did happen, no, I don't think they'll drop those guys. I mean, those guys they're pretty serious about all of them. B.J. Gibson, Tawaski Abrams,
What's up
Cam.
with Tawaski Abrams? I thought I saw a post on the PRB like a week ago or so that I don't know that he tweet something. People, again, I know you don't concern yourself with what happens on Twitter, but like I saw something. Is he vacillating? Is he kind of on the fence right now, or is he still firm?
I think with him, he's taken official visits. He's went to Florida, and he's went to a few places. So I think it's kind of opens the eyes up that what's out there, what different places. I don't think decommits on his mind, but I think he's also thinking about other schools. But I think he's very comfortable with what he has at FSU. He's officially visiting FSU on the 16th, so that's going to be a big weekend for him. Actually, I think that's the 23rd. Scratch that. But yeah, I think it's a little more open than what it was as far as opening his eyes about other schools and what they offer and the different things of the fit there and stuff like that. But I think his official visit will tell a lot when he visits on the 23rd of kind of what he's looking for, if it fits everything. And I think we'll know on that date. Once he officially visits, I think it'll be either solidified or we're gonna wait around and see just kind of he can follow because there's a lot of receivers. But maybe sees if there's a better situation there. But I do not think he's like not solid or not firm. I do believe he feels really good about FSU, but it's just more of a other schools opening his eyes. So I still think it's a little more open than it was, but I still feel good, especially at FSU getting an official visit. So it's kind of a wait and see what happens on that official visit. But this is a kid that's dreamed to play at FSU for a while. But I think anytime you take these official visits, it kind of opens up kids' eyes as far as what's out there, what can be out there, and whatnot. So I think that's kind of what I'm looking at.
What if they get James Madison, JoJo Trader, Cam Coleman, and Jeremiah Smith? Would they then have to cool off on anybody that's committed?
They might have to, but I don't like to play what ifs because that's just silly to talk about. About what like dream scenarios could happen. But yeah, I mean that's a decision you can make, down the line. So sure, yeah, there's probably going to have to be somebody that they kind of like say, hey, we might have to rearrange what we're planning. But as of now, um, I'm not expecting that to be reality. And likely, guys, Cam Coleman and Jeremiah Smith, especially Jeremiah Smith. Cam Coleman, maybe they've certainly done some work and been really impressive with Cam. So that's definitely, they're very much in the picture with Cam. But I'm speaking more reality of what I expect right now. Now, as of right now, no. But to Aslan's point, to playing devil's advocate, yeah, if that happened, then yeah, probably they'd have to do some readjusting.
All right. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate you
Thanks
playing
a
that.
lot. Thanks a lot, Aslan. Put me on the spot.
We're going to get aggregated now. Florida State feels they've got the lead for 4 or 5-star receivers. Aaron Andrews music. Cannot endorse the music from Aaron Andrews, but apparently he's a musician. A couple shows ago, you mentioned 2025 quarterback Bryce Underwood. What's the word on him?
Nothing really new. I think Tramel's been the main guy, obviously committed. Jamel Jones from Mandarin High School. They've made him sure that he's the number one guy. Could be a second guy, but I mean he hasn't. Bryce hasn't visited FSU yet. I think Michigan's the team that I've heard the most about. Had some good connections with Michigan that tell me they feel like they've done the best job early on with him. So I have not heard anything with Bryce. And Bryce hasn't visited, and that's kind of the key. Like if kids aren't visiting you, that's kind of a guy from a fan perspective. Just look and see if FSU's got a visit from that kid. To my knowledge, he has not visited FSU. So until he visits, I don't think it's really something you even need to consider. They've talked, but outside of talking, nothing's really happened. So until they visit, I don't think it gets really serious.
Let's go to Chris. Chris says, will FSU try to get McCray on campus at some point this month, whether it's official or unofficial?
Yeah, his official visit is set for October 8th. I checked again. That sounds like the date he's pretty satisfied and locked in with. That might be for the Miami game, if I'm not mistaken. Aslan can maybe check on that. But I do know that's when his official visit is. I do think he's going to come back in probably either the next few days or late July because we got a dead period in July until late, like July 29th. So I think I could see him coming over to FSU. I've heard it would be a multiple day visit when he does come over. So that's kind of what I expect with LJ McCray. Still a very tight battle with FSU and Florida. I think it's pretty tight, but I still slightly lean towards FSU based on the people I talk with that are close to LJ. But that's where things stand, I think, with him. I know some people have mentioned UCF. I don't with McCray. I don't see that. I think Florida State's Florida battle all the way.
Don't Falk it up, Scott. Some real like UCF envy, man. Chill out. It's all right. Don't let them keep you up at night, man.
Some interesting stuff.
Florida State plays Miami on November 11th.
Okay. I don't know who. October 8th is the official visit date.
That's Virginia. They play Virginia Tech October 7th. October 8th would be a Sunday.
Okay. Well, October 7th weekend then.
Okay. So the Virginia Tech game. Big game. Big
Yep.
game. Brett Pry and the guys coming up
There you
to
go.
town. Hey, I know you do mostly recruiting, Michael, but let's get
Hmm.
your feet wet. Let's get you on the record here, man. Let's get you on the record here when it comes to Destyn Hill. Meet the Nole percentage that Destyn Hill contributes this year.
My percentage before he got here was probably 25%. Okay. When he got here and the stuff I've heard from the workouts, my percentage goes up to 60. Where I think he's actually going to flash, do some things, kind of a Portier type, Portier or Portier, however you say his last name. I want to make
Oh,
sure I get it right.
man.
Tron, I'm sorry if I said your name wrong, but I think it's going to be flashing kind of like what he did last year, where we saw kind of the emergence of Tron, and then the spring Tron was phenomenal. I think Justin's going to have that type of year because he looks phenomenal. I'm hearing a lot of great things about what the workouts are like and how things are going, but you still want to see it on the field, what happens when he gets hit and all that stuff, and the physicality. And so that's kind of what I want to see. But I think he is. I've heard a lot. I mean, a lot of positive buzz about him in practice at these workouts for FSU, and there's a lot of excitement about him that doesn't usually hear that from a first year guy. Obviously, I clearly hear tons of stuff about Keon, but I personally think Keon's going to be their best playmaker this year. I mean, that's how high the praise I'm getting, and that's no slight to Johnny or Trey or any of those guys, but that's kind of what I hear. But with Destin, I think it has gone up about just how high of a chance I think you're going to see him make an impact on this team. But that's what I kind of think the Tron kind of impact that he had.
Thoughts on this take, Michael, from Mark? Mark Sermons. Not a big fan of Micah Danzy. I think Christian Clark is much better. What do you think about that take, Michael?
I mean, I just don't agree. I mean, I don't think he's like much better. I think there's things that Christian does well that a little bit better than say Micaiah does, but I love both of them, and FSU loves both of them heavily. So doesn't really matter what I think or Mark thinks for that matter. As far as that goes, I think FSU would take both of them. I actually like Dancy a lot because of he can bring so much to your passing game, and you can't teach speed. I mean, the guy is electrifyingly fast and long strider. I love what he does in the passing game. I just don't think he's being able to be utilized as much as a guy like Christian Clark would be as far as the volume. You couldn't get the volume that what you would get out of Christian Clark. Christian's more the frame is better. You like the better. So that's probably what Mark likes about. And there obviously is explosibility in being an every down back. I don't think Danzy is kind of your every down back yet. And he's going to have to adjust his body some. He's a little thin, so he's going to have to add a little gain to the upper body and stuff like that. So maybe that's why he likes Christian a little bit better because he fits the frame of an every down back. But I love both of them. I'm very high on both of them. I think they're both great. Dancy is a home run hitter to me. I really compare a lot to what LT does with FSU to being similar to what Dancy does. I think they do similar things. And like I said, this kid gets an open field. It's start the band, man, because you ain't catching that guy. So blistering fast, and those are the kind of guys that you want on your team. You have to have versatility within your running back room. And that's why I love Danzy so much because he's versatile compared to a Clark or even a Cam Davis. They're different type of backs. And you want to have different type of backs in your offense. You don't have everyone just the same. You want to have a different skill set for each guy. And that's what Coach Yak has done a really good job building that room of adding guys that do different things and their strengths are different. And we've seen that productivity even last year when all the guys were averaging like around 6 yards a carry. So I think I respect what Mark's saying, but I personally like Danny and Clark a lot. So I don't think Clark's much better. I do think there's areas he is better as a pure running back and an all the time on the field guy.
Man, we got a world class troll in here right now, man.
I can tell.
I'm almost kind of like impressed. That's it's real good.
I'm not even going to say his name because I think it's funny,
power.
but hey.
Hector Cartagena wonders, Michael, over under 5 on the amount of recruits that commit before the start of this upcoming season.
Over under on how many? Over under 5 on how many recruits commit. Yeah, I mean,
between now and the next 2 months, 2.5 months, you think 5 or less?
I would say they get to the 5 or 6 mark. So, I mean, it's hard for me to go over or under. I think it's right at 5. So I don't know if that means that I'm under or over. So I think around 5 for me right now.
We call that push.
I think it'd be a push or slightly it'd be above the 5 because a 5 or 6 is kind of what I'm looking at.
All right. Let's see what else we got here. Joe Smith. What about Solomon Thomas? How is he?
Very good. I think he's the top target for them on 2025. I think he's up there with, by the way, Zaire Addison, who visited FSU, who I think FSU leads for. I think Solomon's their next highest guy, or the highest guy, and then followed by Addison for me. Solomon camped at the elite camp. Clearly, the number one guy that I saw out there, the best guy. Alex Atkins loves this guy. It's another Florida State Florida battle. I think it's close. Some days I slightly lean towards Florida, but after this visit to elite camp, I lean a little bit more towards FSU. So I think it's still too close to call with those two teams. FSU was the first team to really offer him. They jumped on him early. There's a traction with which Coach Atkins that he loves, and I think it's just too close to call. But I think usually in these cases, Alex usually wins out with stuff. But yeah, Solomon's one of their top guys, Joe. I mean, he is for real.
All right. Antoine Stone is wondering, murmurs. Miami, Ohio State, the 2 biggest threats for JoJo Trader. How come not the Noles?
I don't agree with that. So I don't really care what another network says or does. I think it's a Miami FSU battle. I think it's going to be a Miami FSU battle. Do I think Ohio State's somewhat of a threat? Yeah, I do. What they do with receivers, they have to be a threat. But I think it's FSU Miami battle, has been forever. I don't think anything's changed with that. So don't really play much mind to what another network does or says. I focus on what we're doing and what we're hearing, and that's what I'm hearing on JoJo.
Let's go to Tom Ortner. Michael, what class is going to be higher ranked, 24 this year or next year's 25 class?
I'm going to side with the 25 class. I just think that one's going to be really special. I'm going on a limb because I'm flying blind where I don't really know everything of who they're going to get. I think 25 is just going to be a very special class because you're capitalizing on it's off a really good season. I think it's going to be another really good season. So I think it's going to be really good. I side 25 there for me.
By the way, can we also give it up? I mean, y'all can't clap. You can clap, but we can't hear. But can you hit the thumbs up on your screen for our guy Josiah, who's screening these questions and making sure we get the good questions up here on the screen, but also just dropping the hammer on these fools that are posting nonsense in the chat, man. It was that was incredible, man. Well done, Josiah. Shout out to him, man. We appreciate it. Hey, some people you mentioned this earlier, Michael. We have a diary, and maybe we can talk a little bit more about it. But right now, the crown jewel of this class, at least offensively, when it comes to your signal callers, Luke Kromenhoek. He's out at Elite 11 competing right now. What have you heard about his performance, and how to come about you getting him set up for this diary that's available for all of our subscribers over on Warchant.com?
It's challenging. I'm not going to lie, guys. It's been challenging because those don't know the event is in California. California is on a lot different time zone than what I am. So there's been some really late nights. I think we finished up last night at 2:33 a.m. So it's been challenging, but I think it's been really good for Luke. He's feeling really comfortable. They're in the early stages of it. The first day, it was mainly just some regular, normal throws, and the meetings were very similar to, kind of just almost an introduction to kind of see where the minds are at with all the different quarterback recruits. I think he feels comfortable. I think he feels like, hey, I belong here. He feels like he's going to win it, and he's locked in, and he's not deterring off that. Where, hey, I just want to have a good time, and this is going to be a fun thing. I think he feels confident about his skills, and I don't get a sense that it's kind of like, man, I hope I do good. I think he expects to do good, but I think he wants to get better while he's there. And Luke's been tremendous. I mean, he's been very open about all things, including who he's rooming with and all this stuff, and just connected with different players. And I think overall, I mean, he's feeling good, kind of where his position is and where his mind is. And I think he said something really cool last night, even in our, our one on our the diary we did with him was, you have to be, yeah, they have to make you uncomfortable, because if you're comfortable, then that's not good. Because it's basically like you're staying the same. You're not improving. You're not adapting to different things and new things that are coming at you. So I thought that answer about his comfort level and why he prefers to be uncomfortable is a really good thing. But those that haven't read it, it's on the front page. Really good. The last diary was probably one of my favorites. So definitely go read it, guys. It's some really good detailed stuff. Luke's one of the best kids I've dealt with all year. He's phenomenal. We were both kind of tired. I told him to get some sleep after we got done, but I've just had a blast doing this diary with him, and I really don't have to do a lot, guys. Luke's very so direct and genuine about his feelings and the way he comes across that I really don't have to do a lot. I just got to sit there and just let him tell the story. So it's been fun, and got a few more installments coming up, so I'm excited. And if Luke's watching this at some point, we thank you everything for that, Luke. Appreciate it.
Bah! Goat. Promo like the goat. Bah! All right,
Yep.
let's talk about coaching. Right? Everyone likes coaching. Coaching's important. Hector Cartagena. How do you think Alex Atkins and Mike Norvell sell recruits, mostly offensive line recruits, I would think, on coming here with the assumption that Alex Atkins most certainly at some point is going to leave here in the coming years?
Well, I think that's a little easier compared to the Odell situation, because you're talking about retirement compared to somebody leaving for another school for a job. Yeah, I think it's inevitable that we will see, Alex get a head coaching job, but at the same time, I think it's going to have to be somebody it's a really good fit. It's a really big place for him to leave FSU. I think he's very happy there, and I think he gives off the vibe of how happy he is at FSU, because he's getting valuable. He's getting valuable just reps to a point of working with a guy like Mike Norvell, and seeing this offense evolve. We've seen this offense. Nothing against Kenny Dillingham, but this offense looked much cleaner in everything this past year. For what they were doing and running, and I think kids see that. But I just think you sell them on what he is and what the offense is going to be and what the program is going to be. You can't start focusing on what somebody could do as far as leaving. You let them know how happy you are, because they can't really answer that question. What are they going to say? I could have a job somewhere. It's like you can't really tell people or guess about what somebody is. I think you show them what the program is, how you feel about the program, what you believe in, how you believe in it, and just where it's going. So I think for me, it's just it's continuing to evolve as a staff to where this program's going. And I think Alex does one of the best jobs with that is the way he resonates with guys, and I think it's just business as usual. You stay on point, Hector, and you go from there. But I don't think he really has to sell much because you basically pitch your development, what the program's doing, where you're going, and after that, it's kind of kids kind of know. It's why Alex has done so darn well recruiting everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's an offensive lineman or somebody else. It's why they've kicked butt so much in recruiting in this cycle.
Man, poor Hector catching a lot of strays in the chat.
Okay.
Fair question. I get you, Hector. And I
No,
get
it's a
people.
good question. I don't have a problem with the question. I mean, it's just I think a lot of people play what ifs as far as thinking down the line with scenarios, and I don't think recruits think that way. I don't think recruits look at the recruiting like, "Hey, is this coach gonna? Is
Look
this
at Deion
coach gonna?"
Sanders, everybody. Right?
Yeah,
Like, look at Deion. No one was like,
yeah,
I don't know. Is he going to be here? Like, I don't know what he's going to do. Like, dude, man, you
yeah.
jump and you go. And then you got the portal. You've got the get out of jail card. I mean, you got free movement. You got free agency practically. So I mean, that's probably the real big deal. Hey, it's our guy Khalil. Shout out to
Hey,
Khalil. Get this party started.
thank you, Khalil.
Bills, y'all.
Thank you, Khalil. Right now, oh, wow. He wants power rankings. You ready here, Michael? He wants power rankings. Who are the third and fourth best recruiters on the staff? Who's 1, 2? Who are 1 and 2 right now then? Like Atkins, and then are we counting Norvell as one? Anyhow, so who would you think third and fourth then, Michael? He thinks it's Dugans and Yak or Chris Thompson. What say you? Defensive end linebacker recruiting needs a jolt.
I'm gonna surprise some people. It's like
Do it.
Thompson's really good, and this guy's got a lot of criticism. But I'm gonna say Adam Fuller in that third or fourth group. I think he does a great job. I think he doesn't give a lot of credit as much as those guys. Love what Thompson's doing with that tight end room, and certainly Yak is killing it. But I don't know who I would have out of there, but I think Adam Fuller for me would be in that third and fourth because I love what he does with prospects. He's a big reason why they've done a great job, so good with guys like Charles Lester and some other guys that aren't in his position. So I don't think Adam Fuller gets a lot of credit, but he's a big part of what they've done. And I think third and fourth, that's what I would put him on. I would have him in that group.
Khalil's got Atkins 1, Norvell 2nd, Dugans 3rd, Yak 4th.
Norvell 2nd? Wow. Okay. Norvell should be number 1. Sorry. Like, if you look at every kid that comes to FSU, the one thing that's dramatic change in the recruitment is when they're around Mike Norvell. So for me, it would definitely be Norvell, then Atkins. And then after that, I think it's argumentative about Dugans, Yak, Thompson, or Adam Fuller for me. But yeah, the guy is unreal.
If Travis Hunter was an offensive lineman, I don't think he flips. I don't think like Alex Atkins don't lose, man. So like
Nope.
I can go Khalil and say Atkins is 1.
Oh, okay.
No disrespect to Norvell, but like
wow.
Atkins don't miss. I mean, I guess the kid Cornelius from Rhode Island, they wanted him like number 1 out of the portal, but listen, we know what happens in the portal. We know what kind of is the determining factor in a lot of these sort of battles. So,
and the thing is too, you got to consider is like you have Porter recruiting, you have high school recruiting. Yeah. So if you have Porter recruiting, our man Odell, man, killing it.
Yeah,
Daryl Jackson, Shiskey. I mean, so
Josh Farmer. You know, Odell went to Josh Farmer's dorm. I was like, Josh, listen up. Where do you think you're going? Where do you think you're going? So respect Odell. Let's get with the portal. Keyston. He's got that LinkedIn headshot on his YouTube. Shout out.
There you go.
Any more possible transfers? Yeah, what's up, man? Like, the portal's still open. I mean, guys, if you're a grad transfer, you can throw your name in there. But if you already have your name in there and you haven't landed, you can still. What's going on there, Michael? We're not going to.
We're kind of in a monitor stale stage of that. There hasn't been a lot of movement, but it's kind of like I look at it like transfer school alignments. you kind of hear about it every once in a while, and then damn, it just pops, and next thing you know, UCLA and USC are in the Big Ten. So it's like that's kind of how portal is right now. They're kind of evaluating, looking at stuff, and I don't think there's any movement right now. And I know that probably doesn't press people, but I think there's a lot of still evaluations of guys they want to push for. I think they're waiting to the last minute to do that, to see what's absolutely a possibility, because there's a lot of guys that could be grad transfers that hit the portal. We've already seen some guys that hit the portal this week. So I think they're kind of waiting for somebody that just blows them away before they
That ain't gonna
you may
happen though, Michael. I don't want to be a jerk and cut you off here, but like, listen, man, no guy with like NFL, aspirations is leaving right now in the middle of June, man. Like, that's not gonna happen. I don't think. I mean, maybe is it? You think?
it's not likely, but I'm just saying that's kind of the plan of waiting to see till the final minute they do it. And I think, and I've said this when it happened probably about a month ago, that I think they feel good about what their safety room is. They would love to add a piece to really nail it, but I do think they want to add a piece, at either both safety and maybe linebacker slash defensive lineman, to finish this thing off. But I think overall, I think they're good with what their team is, and unless somebody just eye popping drops in there, so I think they're just kind of in the wait mode.
All right, fair enough.
Yep.
KJ Bolden, he's a pretty
Yes.
solid player. Greg Turner wonders, are we out of the picture for
No, they're in the
five-star KJ Bolden?
they're in the picture, Greg. They're just it's a wait as far as him setting up these official visits. He's already said that he is going to take an official visit to FSU. I would say probably for the Miami game. But he will definitely official visit FSU. Now, don't change that with there isn't work to do. There's work to do. Georgia leads, but I think FSU's right there behind in that top tier. Behind Georgia. I think I would put Clemson in there. I think I would put FSU in there, but I definitely think they're in that smaller tier. I don't think it's just a layup and that he's going to Georgia. I think FSU. He's serious about FSU. I will say that what I've said before. I think the longer this goes, it'll be more beneficial for FSU because they get to showcase their product and what their product is. Here's the thing: everyone knows what Georgia's going to be. They're good. They back-to-back national champions. We don't know just how good FSU could be. So if FSU goes in there, say FSU even makes the playoff, that's going to have a solid effect on a guy like KJ Bolden, who grew up a big fan of FSU, and then he sees what his position's doing. I think certainly it could give them a nice boost.
Man, what's with all the? Here we go. I'm about to say, like, so many offensive highlights. I feel like, ooh, all right, there we go. KJ Bolden. All right, that's what a 5-star looks like. I like that. Very nice. Let's see what else we got here. R. Wilmer, Michael, what position in the 24 class do you feel needs the most attention when it comes to recruiting?
For me, it's linebacker. I'm not seeing what I want to see there. And we've talked about the three guys that are returning. And we talked about Omar Graham. Obviously, Blake Nicholson just got here. That's good. Have two really good guys. But I'm not seeing enough top tier guys. I think you need a top tier guy in this class and linebacker. So for me, the most attention should be on that linebacker. I'm not so concerned with defensive end. There's a lot of options there. Defensive tackle is probably just behind linebacker for me as far as concerning. But you're so loaded at defensive tackle that it's like it's not as a pressing need where it affects your team like linebacker. I think if any of those three get hurt, that FSU starters, you're getting a little worried. So I think for me it's linebacker.
Okay. All right, man. We've gotten to all the questions in the bag. So let's wrap it here because we got stuff going on here at the top or the bottom of the next hour. So we'll let Michael get a little breathing room here. Obviously, Luke Kromenhoek still over in the Elite 11 camp. Maybe he gets a 5-star after a solid weekend out there. What else is cooking over at Warchant.com on the recruiting side of things, Michael?
Yeah, I think certainly it's a good chance that if Luke performs well with all these national media outlets, especially a lot of the On3 guys I know that are there, I think there's a good chance that will kind of start the. I don't think it's just going to get a 5-star because of Elite 11. Like I think it's going to be. I think it's the start of him being a 5-star, and I think he'll be closer. And then I think if he keeps doing that during the season, I think he is likely to get that 5-star ranking. As far as stuff coming up, I'll have a big bang out preview on the official visits coming up this weekend. Got 6 of them, and then also Matt will have our recruiting chat wrap that will be on the site. He's probably already posted it, knowing Matt. Like Matt's Matt's so on this stuff that he's probably already put up all the stuff. I actually haven't told you guys this, but I'm going to do a 10 to watch, right? A new one, brand new, right after the June visits. So right after we do the June visits, I'm going to have another one ready and cranked to go. We're going to do that. And then a few weeks after that, I might update my after the hot boards. That's on the PRB. That's kind of just a breakdown of all the different guys. So I got that coming up. We got commit watches everywhere in July that we're waiting on, 3 or 4 of them. So we got there's a ton of stuff coming up, and then guys, you got fall camp for this team coming up. So as far as our stuff, more Elite 11 diaries with Luke. Look at that. Look at Matt. Look at Matt. Look at Matt. My man, that dude's all. And by the way, I cannot. We've had good people, a lot of good people we work with. Matt has done an incredible job. Just he doesn't get enough credit and stuff. I mean, he's taken a lot of pressure off me at a lot of these camp things because camp is really it's a grind every day. You're up there a lot, and Matt's up there even more than I am. So shout out to him and the work he's done. But that's kind of some of the main stuff that we have coming up. I might drop a mailbag in July, and we'll do some stuff. But got some things coming up, so get ready, man. The season's about to kick off. Look at James.
Oh, why is it doing what it's doing? Don't do
no
this.
horns.
No, I should have the horns. Oh, it's the wrong one. It's this one.
What?
There we go.
Let's go, James B.
Horn gang.
Dollar bill, y'all. James B, you're the man. Look at that, $100 in the jar at the buzzer. He is the man. We appreciate the heck out of you. Thanks to our guy Josiah back there, keeping the questions flowing. Thanks to Matt for jumping in here, answering some questions. Thanks to Michael, obviously. Don't forget, Father's Day this weekend, everybody, Sunday. Give the gift of warchant.com. On3's got it set up to where you can actually go on the site, you can sign up, and you can give a subscription as a gift. It'll send a confirmation code to the email address of your choice, Dad, and he can go ahead and sign up. Now, listen, Dad maybe already has a warchant.com account. As long as you send it to the same email address that he signed up with, it'll just add on to what he's got. So right now, 6 months for $40 or a full year for $75. Listen, full freight is usually like $100 for a year. So take advantage of this offer. It's over at warchant.com. The PRB's cooking. Michael, thanks for doing this, man. We appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up on the way out, everybody.
Yeah, and the only thing I would add is, by the way, James, Matt is full-time. He's not no intern. Like, he's full-time. Yeah. He's on our staff. Secondly, don't forget tomorrow, official visitors arrive. I'll be out there. That's the day before my birthday on Saturday. So I'm going to kind of celebrate birthday the next day. They're actually giving me a day off, FSU, so they love me. So FSU's giving me a day off on Saturday. But make sure you guys go in there on the PRB. Thank Matt for all his hard work. He's done great. And once again, guys, we appreciate you guys tuning in.
Yeah, that's right. All right, we're done. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. Thanks, everybody. Have a great one. Stay connected to warchant.com, the ultimate Seminole sports source.